All right, welcome here to week 9. Just kind of moving right along. We've got to the Age of Empires and Epics. I looked over everyone's quizzes. I corrected the ones that were wrong. Do take a second look at there if I missed it, but I think I got all of them in case Lamoku um, corrected them. I corrected them. I went back over that. So yeah, should be good. Hopefully, so that got a good sense of empires and epics, and now we kind of move around to the rest of the world, and really kind of one of the points from this week, the formation of the Silk Road, which starts in this period of empires of the Roman and the Han and the Kushan, the Parthians, and then depending on times where empires were thriving, the Silk Road also thrived and people move back and forth. In times where empire collapsed, the Silk Road also kind of went down. So you can kind of see the correlation between there. So one talking about the Silk Road, and it's not just a trading a world, but it's also an exchange, a transmission, what I like to call people, products, and ideas. That all three of these things are moving. Definitely silk is moving, and spices and money and rugs. I gave a nice video of sort of the Chinese Silk Road there, which kind of talks about, takes you to a bazaar and you kind of see that's probably not too distant. It's not probably not too far removed from what was going on in the Silk Road. These market cities were very much thriving. People brought goods from all over. The one point I do want to kind of iterate, and I talked about in the lecture, is that we don't have many records of people going from like one end to the other end of the Silk Road. I mean, really, it was like sort of regional. You take something from China to Kashgar, and then people would come from Central Asia or South Asia up there, trade their goods, then to Persia, then to the Mediterranean. So the idea of moving all the way from Rome to Chang'an probably didn't happen too often. It probably did. I'm not going to say it never did, but the records we have for that are a little bit limited. But the people that moved in between those spaces definitely did. They brought their religions with them. They brought their new ideas with them. So all of these, the movements of the Silk Road, overland, and also talked about the oversea, the maritime movements as well. So some of the big people there, Xuanzang, the spread of Buddhism to China, Hinduism to Southeast Asia, Christianity to the Middle East. And then the other thing here is we talked about the decline of empires. The Roman and the Han both kind of declined from both internal and external issues, and the new empires will emerge in China. We'll get to the Three Kingdom period is very famous, but then in the the wet Mediterranean side, the Roman Empire collapses, but this new empire, the Byzantine, comes up, shifts to the east, Constantinople, creates a new city there under Constantine. Christianity becomes the imperial religion of the Byzantines. So I connected to a link to a video. It's a little bit sort of old school history video. There's sort of one British guy talking about history, but I think it's quite kind of interesting, and particularly because it talks about the empire, the Byzantium Empire, but also more importantly, it talks about Christianity and how Christianity came around. So I think that's kind of good, and kind of goes with the lectures. Justin and Theodora is mentioned, and how religion and empires work together. So that's that. And then the last part, your epic essays are due this week. Hopefully you've had some time to kind of look at them. You've gone through my notes. Please look over my notes on your drafts. I gave everyone comments. Again, make sure you have the three major components of summary, historical context, cultural significance, and you can just divide your paper into those. I mean, you don't need headings. You can just write it in that way. Make sure your paper isn't just 1,000 words of summary. Try to keep these also to around 1,000 words, that's why I think that the opening section, the summary section, is very difficult because some of these epics are very big. But if you kind of combine it to your ideas, that'd be great. Or combine it to one chapter or one section of your epic, that'd be just fine. And then context, historical context, where this came from, where what it is, who wrote it, when was it produced, and then cultural significance. What are some elements within this epic that you see relate to this culture? Within that, The other big point is that I highlighted, make sure you have three um, direct quotes from your epic as well. So you need to have direct quotes from the epic. Show me you read it. Connect those quotes together to what you're trying to say. Um, and really just kind of to zoom out. The whole purpose of this assignment is to pick up an epic that you've been interested in reading, get to know it a little bit better, and write a big paper about it. So, I mean, don't overthink those components too much. I gave an AI example. If you just try to run this through AI, it's going to come up with a bunch of stuff that is going to be a bunch of red flags. Particularly if like you start saying stuff that is sort of, graduate level, professional level analysis of some of these points. I gave the one on the Bhagavad Gita, right? If you really get in on very nitty gritty Bhagavad Gita stuff, be prepared. If I get a bunch of that, I'll just, we'll set up a Zoom meeting. You can explain it to me. And if, maybe you did go down there and that's fine. But, that's one of the big red flags of AI is just this really sort of both vague, but also very like really far out there stuff that is not really there. And again, I just want you to read something and enjoy it. That's it. I don't want you to just AI something and move on. So it's the whole point of this assignment. Do that and you should be fine. I think that's it. Submit your epic essays by Friday, I think. Cool. Right. Good. Have a good rest of your week.